Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Thursday AMA Day. And as you know, I am Leanne Langer. I am Open Comp's head of customer experience. And today we're doing something super special. We are going to launch the first of something that I hope that we continue doing every month going forward. This awesome thing is a community member spotlight. And in our High Growth Matters community, everything we do is for the benefit of our members. And to best serve you, it's important that we get to know you better, and we also want the rest of our community to get to know you too. So in our inaugural session, I am so happy to introduce Megan Johnson, who is the talent lead at Fruitful. Welcome, Megan.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
I love your citrus shirt. I have to comment on it.
Thank you. Yeah, it's fun to bring in a little bit of I don't know, lightness to the workday. So I've definitely been keeping my eye for anything fruit themed since starting at Fruitful.
Yes, I love that. And there's something about the color, the brightness of the color, and like you said, just the lightness. It creates that level of humanity and just, we're all people around here, so we can treat each other as such.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly.
Awesome. Well, let's get started. Everybody has a story, and I'm really excited to have you share yours. So what is your background and how did you end up at Fruitful?
Sure. So I so many times have said this. I don't, maybe today there is, who knows, but when I was a child, I didn't say I want to be a recruiter when I grow up. But I'm very happy and grateful to be here now. I graduated in 2010 at the height of the recession with a degree in political science and the goal to work in government to advocate for medical research. But, come to find out, even though I had an internship, even though I actually worked in Washington, D.C. for a nonprofit, going to hearings on the Hill and reporting on FDA findings and what have you, graduating when there were so many other people in the workforce looking for a job that had years and years of experience doing that, had a bit of a challenge in finding work. So I started in sales jobs, thinking, I can sell ice to an Eskimo and I'll do this until the economy gets better. Eventually went back to nonprofit work, realized in order to pay the medical bills that were part of why I cared about medical research, it wasn't really possible to maintain while working in nonprofits. Eventually found my way to recruiting. I had multiple friends who were working in recruiting around 2013, 2014, and had a friend who was working at a recruiting agency who are always hiring, who said, hey, we're hiring, want to come join us? It's basically like sales. You're selling jobs to people. And that is when I fell in love. I initially focused on large clients like Starbucks, Disney, Amazon. I was up in the Seattle area at the time, hired some of the first SDETs to the Starbucks mobile order pay team, which was something that no one had ever heard of at the time, thought to be kind of a crazy idea. You're going to order coffee from your phone and then pick it up and trust that it's, going to magically work. And, I don't know about you, but I could not live without my mobile order pay from just my mom and pop coffee shop today. So pretty cool to look back at that. Eventually, I realized these software engineers could be doing something even more impactful in the world. I've worked in biotech. I've done a little bit of fintech. My most recent employer was autonomous drones delivering medical supplies, a product I deeply believe in, but found myself itching for getting in at the ground level of something and really helping build up the best practices across recruiting, hiring, and really looking at the full employee life cycle, and the fact that in interviewing and considering a new job for everyone, it's really, there's nothing different about that person on their first conversation with, a person on the people team versus their first day of employment. And how do we make processes and experiences that really get to the heart of, why are we here? Why do you want to join this company? Why do we want you to join us? How is this a beneficial two-way street? And wonderful, awesome, let's, build the rocket ship and get to the moon. So here I am. It's been just over 2 months now at Fruitful, and really, really looking forward to what we're building and where we're going.
Well, thank you for that. And I'm excited Fruitful brought you to us. You and I have been getting to know each other over the past couple of months now. And it's interesting because I talk to a lot of folks where the intention isn't to, become an HR professional or to become a recruiter. And, that's not my story either. We kind of land there, some way, somehow. And it's interesting, you started with large companies recruiting and gaining that sales experience. And, it sounds like you had that sort of natural salesmanship, the natural energy, and, that personality that people gravitate to. So you were set up for success sort of naturally from the beginning. And it sounds like you got trained by some of the best and then got that itch, to join that startup, get your hands dirty and really be able to build from scratch, which is very, very cool. But I love that you're able to bring that, love for people and authenticity and, making real meaningful change, with that skill set of, I'm going to help you find a job that you're going to be amazing at and with a company that you're going to love, and we're going to be here to set you up for success. So kudos to you.
Thanks. Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about Fruitful? What's the product? What is the mission?
Yes. So we actually just yesterday announced our seed and Series A funding. So it's been a busy, exciting week preparing for that. Seeing the press go out yesterday via TechCrunch, and seeing the traffic to our website, especially. Hockey stick growth of the traffic to our website. So the problem that we are solving is the fact that there are significant barriers to accessing good financial help. The service model, the cost, the awareness, and the trust within that environment, and just an average person finding financial freedom and stability is incredibly challenging. So Fruitful, our goal is to be the world's first financial wellness membership. The initial phase of our product that we'll be launching in October is essentially easily accessible financial guides, certified financial planners through an app on your phone. You can chat them, you can schedule a Zoom or a FaceTime. And then we also have easily digestible articles, videos on a variety of different pieces of the financial puzzle. So whether that be Roth IRA versus 401k, or one of my favorite titles of a little snackable article we released in the app recently was something to the extent of, is the concern about inflation ... inflated? So really trying to recognize the elephant in the room that, financial stressors are abundant for everyone. We live in a world where money is the means to get by, and yet the access to information, especially personalized financial advice, there is a barrier to entry there. And so our goal is to bring this to everyone and make it possible for those that, don't have 250K in assets to still be able to make wise financial decisions with some help from a friend. The goal is that it's not scary anymore. It doesn't cause anxiety as much as we can. We can help people rest easier knowing that they're making the right choices for the long term, while still, saving money at the end of the day. So the membership is slated to be $98 a month, so just a little under $1,200 for a year. But if you look at the cost comparison to, again, having like a bank and financial advisor in that way, it's dramatically less. And again, the need to have a lot of assets isn't there for our offering.
Mm-hmm. Well, first, congratulations on your fundraise. That's absolutely incredible, very exciting, a lot of work. And so I'm excited to see the next steps in the growth of Fruitful from here on out. So kudos to you guys.
Thank you.
And what you're working on is extremely important. Offering financial wellness as part of your total rewards package, it goes a long way for employees, and it shows that you're invested in the whole person, building that culture of trust that you truly care about the employee's well-being. And you're right, there's just not a lot of accessible information out there. And employees, I think we see it a lot, like they don't save as much as they should. And, so I feel like there's a lot of demand and interest, and particularly now with the economic landscape, this becomes even more valuable. So I love what y'all are working on. Let's talk about some of the folks on the Fruitful team. So what is it that you look for when you're searching for talent?
Yeah. So many things, certainly, of course, a big emphasis for me right now is hiring engineers. Who isn't? So looking at, the technical skills the technologies that we're using, it is important that people have experience with, AWS, Swift UI, things of that nature, so that they can join the team and hit the ground running. But beyond that, we have, in fact, a whole one-pager on it's beyond our cultural values. It's really our core beliefs, the fact that our design principles are the most important that we bring across all of our teams. The passion for the problem, passion for problems in general is really important, that we're not just focused on moving the rock down the road for the sake of doing that, but really thinking deeply about what isn't working and how we can find solutions for those, and not being fearful of saying, okay, this doesn't work. Kind of similar to just talking about personal finances. It's been very taboo in our society to talk about money, and we're trying to bring those same concepts that we're applying to the product to the team, and so we do look for curiosity, desire to raise your hand and ask a question. Asking why is another one of our core beliefs that I've seen lived and breathed. I ask a lot of whys, and they are very, very welcome. So really having this common thread between all of us of recognizing that what we're doing is going to be a long road to really establishing Fruitful as the forever company that we intend it to be, but also bringing in those same concepts for ourselves, for our work planning. We're actually, a fun thing about our team right now is we are bringing everyone onto a 2-week sprint cycle. And certainly in recruiting and people and even operations, it's not quite intuitive in terms of, okay, how do I make my day-to-day that sometimes is the same thing? How do I build this into a 2-week sprint? But really, at the end of the day, looking for team members who are willing to say, all right, that's how things have been, but how do we do what's best for the here and now and for the future, and build in ways that our team can do that together.
I love that. I love the culture of transparency and curiosity. Fun fact, I like to ask a lot of questions also. And in the early stages of my relationship with my husband, I used to ask so many questions because I didn't understand what he did for work. So I would ask all these questions. And so I had a question quota for each day. He's like, you reach your quota, that is enough. And so now it's funny having two little boys who ask why all the time. I'm like, ha.
Yeah. Well, and just a fun thing that I forget who told me recently, but someone, I ask a lot of questions, and I have learned to preface, I'm asking this because I'm tempted to make an assumption. So I'm just going to ask you instead of, making an assumption. And this person told me that people are either an asker or a guesser. And there's this whole theory and philosophy on humans and the fact that people either guess and, just kind of go about their lives guessing, or they ask. And I think you and I are both askers, and it's fun. And I have learned to, preface, this is why I'm asking, and I'm going to ask. And I would say that that's definitely present within our team as well.
That's good. Yeah, the context is for sure important. Have you read the book called Sprint?
No.
Okay.
I'm going to add it to my bookshelf.
Yes, I will. I'll send you the link, but it's about how you solve problems, like solve any problems, I think within 5 days is part of the title. But with what you said about how you try to structure your teams and get projects done, it might be an interesting read.
Yeah. I just pulled it up on Google real fast. Must be listening to us.
I have it on my bookshelf, and it has collected dust, so I'm going to be pulling that one up one day soon. So you mentioned that one of your big priorities is obviously hiring engineers. You guys just closed, your recent round of fundraising. So I imagine, hiring in general is a top priority. What else do you have on your list in terms of priorities?
Yeah, well, we've been working closely together to get our compensation philosophy in a good, fair, equitable spot. I was going to say right spot, but I don't know that, well, I know that we will get to a fair, equitable spot. And that's really the right spot. So
the right definition can be defined differently depending on your org.
Exactly. So I've been taking a lot of time to pour over data, understand where we are, understand where the market is, understand how we can communicate these things to our current team as well as future hopeful employees. So that's definitely a big thing on my list. Another thing I'm doing is setting up our systems to be as automated as possible. We are implementing a service or a software called Good Time, which I recommend to any hiring teams that are finding themselves spending a lot of time playing what I call calendar Tetris, which is scheduling interviews with multiple people. It gets very complicated very quickly. So I've been working, I guess, overall on looking at the ways that we can just be the most efficient, most thoughtful, and thoughtfully designed approach to recruiting. Because again, at the end of the day, that recruiting phase is just the first taste of being an employee, and to carry through those concepts that I sell on the front end is really important that they're present in our environment. Something that our CEO, I was just in a meeting prior to this with him and our core people and business team members, and he I think he said 3 or 4 times, we are different by design. And really being intentional in everything that we are designing in terms of process and integrations and tools that we're using to ensure that what we do today sets us up for success a year from now, and not having to reinvent the wheel when we're 100 employees, because then at that point, it's more of a rip and replace than a integration. So really setting the foundation. I like to think of recruiting and building a team as building a house. And if your foundation isn't strong, if that first floor of walls doesn't have the right supports, the second floor is going to crumble in. And so really being intentional about all of the pieces of the recruiting pie and process, so that again, a year from now, it's just business as usual and not needing to start at scratch from wherever we are.
Yeah, I mean, being intentional, you can definitely drive towards better outcomes and, increase your level of success because you were thoughtful from the beginning and not necessarily shooting from the hip, even though some of that happens at startups also.
Yeah.
So how is Fruitful reacting to the economic landscape right now in regards to hiring? Are you guys holding steady, meaning like, are you only hiring for essential roles? Are you, full-blown hiring to take advantage of what's happening with other companies that may be pausing? Are you somewhere in between?
Yeah. So again, thanks to thoughtful planning, we are hiring at a what I would call a steady rate at against our plan. I do have a handful of lead engineering roles that are right here and now in terms of our most urgent needs, to again be those pillars of support that we can then build, more junior level engineers underneath them, and ensure that those junior engineers have the mentorship and leadership that they need, and being thoughtful about what we're seeing in the market and some of these layoffs, especially in fintech. There's a lot of layoffs in fintech happening right now. So we have from the get-go, from when I joined, we've looked at the product timeline and roadmap and said, okay, if we are launching our product in October, we need to hire XYZ by this date to ensure that the people hours are there to build what we need to build. So there isn't, we're not taking advantage of the layoffs in the sense of like, okay, there's 10 engineers at this company, let's just hire them all. We're looking, okay, there were unfortunately 10 people laid off here. Are any of these skill sets a match for what we're hiring for? And great, let's send an email, let's try to connect with them, and being thoughtful in how we build, and making sure that when we hire someone on, they have work to do, and it's not just another person in a seat because we raised money. So right now our team is about 30, and I do expect we'll be about double, maybe a little more than double by the end of the year, again with that intentional growth in mind. And then I see once we launch the product in October, we gain members and users and are generating revenue, then that's when we'll really launch that hockey stick growth, to match the demand of our users.
Now, from your conversations with these candidates and your intentional and business-driven conversations with candidates, how are you differentiating Fruitful, in that competitive market, and what do you find that candidates want today?
I find that candidates want to build something they see as valuable for the world. Our CEO, Josh, we have a handful of articles, and I just looked at this title. Let me find it again. The thing that won me over as I was considering, what do I want to do? What do I care about? How do I want to ensure that if I'm spending, 40 plus hours a week on a thing, it's going to benefit more than just paying my paycheck. And there's a Medium article our CEO wrote with the title of "A Moral Mission: How a Reluctant Capitalist Connected Purpose to Personal Finance." And that for me is, like I said, won me over because I think there is a lot of awareness from the last 2 years of the fact that a lot of our systems are broken. And if we're going to be, again, spending 40 plus hours a week doing something, I'm finding more and more, especially with engineers who the world is their oyster, they want to care about what they're doing, and they want to be proud of the work and the product that they put out in the market, knowing that there is a reason of deeper than, I did some cool things with the latest technology. And so the common thread between our team and the engineers, especially that I'm talking with, is going beyond just the code, and caring about the product, caring about the team members, working with people where we can laugh together, and if there is a fire to be put out, do it together, and not be pulling our hair out in the midst of what inevitably happens when solving problems. There's always something, and it's really important to enjoy the people you're solving those problems with.
Yeah, definitely. Making sure that you have those relationships, that you feel like you're in a supportive culture, that you're, all for one for all. And it's all just so very important to have that mission-driven work and to have, a passion and some sort of a fire for what you're doing, because we could do any job out there, but what becomes more rewarding is where we have these connections.
Exactly.
What else are you seeing when it comes to engineering hiring? What is your biggest challenge right now?
Yeah, I would say there is a lot of hesitancy with startups, given the current status of, again, many fintech startups having layoffs, and people being at larger companies thinking they want to change, and then when the change is right at the front door, being a bit more hesitant to grasp that opportunity and change. So it's just helped me be even more thoughtful on the front end and asking, what is motivating this change? Let's say you get to the end of your interview processes and you have 5 offers on the table. What's the determining factor? And, some people might say the money, and that's okay, but we are a startup and we're not going to be paying, what a Google or a Facebook or any of those other larger companies are paying. And if that's the reality for them, by all means, take that larger offer, and recognizing that we're steadfast in our beliefs and understanding of the fact that there will be people willing and interested to take the chance in joining a startup, knowing that that it has quite a beneficial payoff longer term. So it's definitely an interesting market. I'm sitting in the heart of San Francisco right now, and walk out my front door and probably ask 5 people on the street what they do, and 4 of the 5 work in tech, and so many people will have different responses to what matters to them. And so just ensuring, when I'm talking with candidates, asking those sometimes hard, uncomfortable questions of, what matters, and why are you making a change, and ensuring that those pieces align, fit together for the right reasons, and also that I'm providing them, opportunity to explore further, to make sure that when they sign on the dotted line, they're confident they're making the right choice for themselves, and it's not a, you know, a coerced situation in any way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, for a company that's so mission driven and culturally focused, it makes sense that you're asking some of these hard questions up front. You know, at the end of the day, we want to be respectful of everybody's time and make sure that this is going to be a fit and a worthwhile conversation to continue having. You know, and not just respecting your time and the need to fill these roles, but also for the candidates. You want them to land somewhere where they're going to be happy, where they're going to find meaning in their work and growth and development, and, you know, and get paid in a way that they feel rewarded, you know, and happy with that package. So I love that you're leading with that, even though it, you know, may sometimes be challenging. Are you seeing anything interesting when it comes to candidate expectations for GeoPay?
My AirPods are, there we go. Not so much, you know. I would say the challenge is we are taking a work from where best approach, and in developing our compensation philosophy, looking at, is GeoPay the way to go, or is, you know, the I think it was Airbnb, you know, the most recent company that said, no matter where you are, and if you're an engineer level 1, no matter where you are, you get, you know, this salary. So we're exploring what that means, what that looks like, what is beneficial for everyone at the end of the day, and how do we ensure fair and equitable pay across the board. Having conversations with people in San Francisco versus Ohio is certainly one of those things that is making me look deeper at the GeoPay and saying, okay, what truly makes sense for both the business and our candidates, and moving forward with, I believe we will be going towards a geo pay approach, just again to ensure that especially people in hot markets have a fair market salary, that, you know, wouldn't be the same as the market rate in Ohio, Iowa, any of those other states in the middle of the country.
It is an interesting challenge because you're balancing that idea of financial affordability and then these like microeconomic landscapes and cost of labor. And then at the same time, it's like, you know, what job are you doing? And, you know, equal pay for equal work. And, you know, so there's a lot that we're trying to balance here when it comes to GeoPay. So I empathize with it being, you know, challenging at times. Share with us something that you've recently achieved, you know, at Fruitful, something that you're super proud of. You know, why do you consider it a success?
Yeah, our careers page is like my I am so proud of the fact that it was a collaborative effort across all of our team members. We have some videos of our team. Just I put a call to action. Please do a little selfie recording of yourself answering 2 to 3 questions from this list. And so we've done some compilations of, for example, if you were a fruit, what fruit would you be and why? To, you know, why are you here? Why do you care? And providing those insights to someone that just, you know, oh, I want to see if Fruitful's hiring. They land on our careers page and they can gain some insight into who we are, why we're here, why we care, what we're doing. There are even some screenshots of what we're doing, you know, to show here's some code, here's, you know, I think one of the examples is something I commented on, I forget at this point, but just really to show the candidates what we're about in a special, fruitfulized way, instead of just, okay, here's our values, here are the jobs. But to really kind of lift the hood of the car and show more of the engine and give people some insights into what they would be joining and what they have the opportunity to be a part of. So with the launch of the Tech Crunch yesterday, our CEO has been very busy in conversations, and he said he's received some excellent feedback on our website to this point, which just makes me so very happy because, you know, it lands and resonates with me, but to hear that it's landing with investors and podcast hosts and, you know, people across the board, not just engineers, is very exciting.
That is awesome. You're glowing as you talk about that. So congrats on your careers page. And I love that video recording. It's really cool. You know, it definitely allows, again, to like see the human and the authentic aspect behind the candidate, you know, and to drive something more than this PDF resume, which so many people, myself included, have trouble reading and seeing through. So I love that. So as we round out our chat today, I thought it would be fun if we did a little bit of a lightning round with some questions. So you ready for this, Megan?
Yes, ready.
All right. Who is your hero?
My grandma. She's 94, lives down in Mountain View. Big reason why I am who I am today. And definitely a big reason why I came back to the Bay Area, to just be able to hop in my car and go see her. COVID kind of threw a wrench in that for a little bit. She was on super lockdown in her retirement home, but she's just lived such a life, and has taught me so much. So grateful to have her.
I love that. Family first, right?
Yeah.
What is your walk-up song?
You know, I was thinking on this so hard. I really don't know. I love music so much. And it is what has, you know, brought some lightness to especially the last 2 years. I would probably, I can tell you, I'm very excited to be going to 2 of the 3 opening shows for ODESA's tour in July. Not that their music is quite walk-up musicable, but that is a big highlight on my horizon right now.
That's awesome. Music is important. Drives that energy. What would you name your boat if you had one? Or maybe you do have one.
I do not. I did grow up in Seattle, where more times than I can count, people would say, you know, the best days of having a boat are the first day you buy it and the day you sell it. So I've always had, you know, try to find a friend with a boat. That's the key. If I had a boat, I would name it something, you know, very corny, but I would need to think on it a little bit more. But like something tapping, maybe I don't know. It would be corny though. I can tell you that much.
Maybe something fruitful related, like the mangosteen.
maybe we have painted our conference rooms different colors, and we've named them based on that color. So like one of our conference rooms is mango madness. So yeah, maybe some fruit theme there.
So fun. How can our community continue to support you?
You know, sign up for our launch in October. We really want to bring this to everyone and help people find more of that financial stability and wellness. So go to our website, join the wait list, launching early October, and really want to, again, just help people find more stability and lessen the anxiety around money that we all have. And then by all means, connect with me on LinkedIn. I love talking about all things people. Something that I say often is, you know, I feel very lucky to have found recruiting because it's a way that I can leverage my strengths to help leverage others' strengths and help them leverage their own strengths. So if there's anything I can help with, I am happy to. So don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you so much, Megan. Really appreciate you being here today. And everybody, I can tell you firsthand with Megan, you're going to get that curiosity, the transparency, the context, you're going to get the energy, and very clearly a healthy dose of vitamin C.
Maybe even some cute cat photos too.
Cherry on top. Thank you for letting us get to know you today, Megan, at Megan J in the community.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Leanne. It's been fun.
Thank you. Take care, everyone. See you next week.